We were set on buying the best colt by the Group 1 winning son of Reduced Choice, Alabama Express, at the Magic Million sale this year, and we found him in Yearling's draft out of the winning Longrow mare Sent From Above. Purchased for $220,000, this colt was one of the top price yearlings at Magic's by the exciting first season sire, and if you look at him physically, you can see why. He is a big, strong, mature colt, and he received very strong ratings across the board. Adrian, the colt is currently in the stable at present. How is he handling his first preparation with us?
Yeah, excellent. Been most impressed with this colt, and like you said, physically he's a really imposing style of horse. And if this is the type of example of the progeny that the stallion's going to be throwing, it could certainly be an exciting time for the stallion going forward. I guess sort of any son of Reduced Choice you sort of really have to respect. But when they're throwing nice types that are coming into the stables early, are doing everything right and physically look the way in which this colt does, you certainly got to take notice. So, look, certainly not expecting this colt to be a pre-Christmas colt, but then again, he could surprise us. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's on his second preparation for us and is going to have a jump out tomorrow morning, actually. So in saying that, he's in one of the more forward groups of yearlings that we've had through the stables at present. So that's certainly always a good indication. And physically, as I said, he certainly doesn't look out of place. He's one of the more physically more mature horses that we've got at this stage. So we'll give him that jump out on Friday. He'll look to have a spell off the back of that. Usually we look to give those colts a 4-week turnaround. And that'll see him being back in around the end of July period, back into the stable for what will be his third preparation then. And that'll be the indicator, as I pointed out, whether he'll be racing in that early spring through October or whether we'll give him another spell and sort of have him ready for early in the new year. But in terms of sort of his preparation, I think that's a good snapshot. He's been up working at 3/4 pace at present and done everything that we could have asked for so at this stage. So as I'm most impressed on, pedigrees even aside, just on the individual himself, been really pleased with what we've seen.
Yeah, it's exciting times with this colt, Adrian and Claudia. He was an absolute lovely yearling, and just so pleased to see how quickly and how well he's adapting to life as a racehorse. It's exciting times too for the team at Yearling. I mean, there's been so much investment, as we touched on in this email, and this colt is a product of just the beginning of all that investment. Not only in quality mares, but high quality stallions and high quality people. And he's a son of a really nice young Reduced Choice stallion called Alabama Express, a horse that was unbeaten at 2, a Group 1 3-year-old, only had the 8 starts, lightly raced, really good looking horse, as you can see behind me. But Adrian also from a family that out of a really lightly raced, talented Longrow mare from a daughter of Gamble Me who works so well within Tulloch Lodge. And I know you love buying progeny with bloodlines that we're familiar with and had success with through Tulloch Lodge.
Yeah, definitely. This is sort of one of the old Guree families, again, just sort of, what I guess you could say some of the success of Tulloch Lodge was built around, some of those sort of families and dynasties. So, it's sort of very easy to continually going back to those families. The types of horses that are going to produce, the constitutions that they have. They're tough horses, they're sound horses. And as we said, most importantly, we've had success with them. Then sort of crossed with a young son of Reduced Choice, certainly feel it was a really high percentage play for us to go be targeting these sort of types of progeny at the yearling sales. I guess Yearling, this is a new part of their business and relatively new, as you've pointed out, into the industry, but they're here to make big waves, and we've seen the level of investment that they've poured in, going out and even just sourcing the best young stallions to kick that off, the best young brood mares to be going to supporting these stallions. We've seen how successful that is, and they've sort of really poured it in. They've got the great stud there in Melbourne, in Victoria there. A lot of success have come off those grounds and those farms. So when we saw this colt, it certainly as I said, seemed a really high percentage play for us. Great value in terms of sort of what we're able to source and buy him at. But most importantly, I feel we've already got a good indication through through the family and the traits that we've seen previously.
Yeah, and I think from outsiders looking in, or those that aren't at the sales or the sales like we attend, I think it's an important thing to understand that like the scale investment is huge in the bloodstock, but they're also a really good team, and they're playing the long-term game, Adrian and Claudia, aren't they? They really are investing heavily at scale, but over time. But they've also invested heavily in their team. I know Mr. Zhang, June, his son-in-law, who's at the stud. I mean, they're hands-on. They're there chasing cattle. They're there, making sure that the lawns are perfect. I mean, they're really hands-on. But then you've got Sam Fairgrave, of course, there too, who was at Arrowfield for so long and ran Arrowfield. I mean, talk about a guy that knows what success looks like. He was there through Reduced Choice's reign, and of course Reduced Choice's son Snitzel, not a single doubt Beneteau, but such a huge impact. So Alabama Express is a stallion, I think, being a son of Reduced Choice's Sam's fingerprints all over him. But Claudia also, like Harry and Claudia and their whole team, they're just a good, vibrant, fun team, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and really good to do anything with, to be involved with. And great to be able to secure this colt from their draft. I think importantly, Gay marked this colt, or gave this colt her highest rating at the sale. So pedigree aside, physically he is faultless. And as you said, Adrian, he's at a really good price point. Silks and shares are available, and we're showing him on Sunday at the stable. So if anyone is interested in coming along to have a look at him, please do get in touch.
Absolutely. And just to touch on that, just finish off quickly, I'd also like to say, make sure you look at Gay's video on this colt of the barriers. I mean, I will say one thing: Gay is black and white, right? She forgets all context of the horse by the time they come into the stable. They're just the horse, and she wants them to behave properly, do everything right. I've heard terms like Mexican jumping beans. I've heard terms like a firecracker. Like, she's just honest and says what she sees basically with these young horses. And this colt got the biggest rap from Gay around the barriers and what he's been doing around the stable. So make sure you have a look at that little video too. Really nice colt. Well done.
Alabama Express is a really lovely colt. He's big, he's strong, he's good looking, and he was really good here at the barriers today. He was very responsive. He listened to the handler. He loaded well, and he jumped out really nicely. So next Friday, he'll be going to a grass jump out here at Randwick. Any of you who'd like to come out and see him, just be in touch with Emma or Claudia.